What is my introduction? Okay, ready? Okay. Welcome back to the theoretical art of not giving a damn. I'm Ash, your host, and today we have a special guest, Will. Will, can you please introduce yourself just a little bit?
Well, as you said, my name is Will. I go to UMHB. I'm a football player. Uh, I like to go bowling sometimes, play pool. Just pretty have a laid back lifestyle.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about nonconformity and rebelling against society and not giving a damn. So grab your cup of tea. And let's dive into this topic. I'm gonna add the intro part like right after that. Okay. You don't have to look at the camera most of the time. You can look at me.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So, can you tell me just a little bit about your background in nonconformity and basically just not giving a damn about society and what society says?
Yeah. So basically, just growing up, I was always the uptight child. I was always closed off, and I wasn't really open minded as I am now. Growing up, I realized that really just not giving a damn. It's
Yeah.
like more easier than worrying about who thinks what about you, how you're supposed to be as a child or a man or wherever the case may be. I feel like it's just been easier going forward, just not think about anybody else's thoughts or anybody else's expectations, and to think of my own expectations and think of things that I know I agree with or I like or dislike and things of that nature.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, briefly, can you just tell me what does rebelling against society mean to you?
Basically, just abiding by your own rules. Like, I feel like in today's society, we're so stuck on popularity and things that will get other people's attention and not things that make us happy or that we agreed on. And so much people get caught up in trying to be like the next person or copy what the next person is doing. And I feel like you lose yourself once you get that mindset, especially on social media and just go into everyday life.
Oh, for sure. I do feel like in society now, there are so many rules that we kind of have to abide with and we have to follow. And if we don't follow those rules, we're looked at differently, or like we're weird, or or looked down upon.
We just stand out because we're not going what everybody's doing.
Exactly, especially in our culture, being Black, or with you being African, and our cultures not following their rules or their societal norms, you're looked at differently or even shunned out, or things like that. Okay. So my next question: can you share a story from your life where you consciously chose to go against societal norms?
Uh, the earliest I can remember is probably middle school. Middle school is probably like them years was when I was really finding and understanding myself and really just thinking why am I thinking like this?
Yeah.
Like more so thinking for myself, not worry about what anybody else got going on, not worry about what I should be abiding by and things of that nature. And I feel like just me realizing that, especially in school, because in school, I will admit I was kind of a follower growing up, but then I had to get out of that mindset because everybody's not meant to be followed.
Yeah.
And if you just know your worth and know your truth, it's better to just follow your own lead than anybody else's.
Okay, I like that a lot. I feel like when I was younger, I don't know, I would say I was kind of a follower at the time. But throughout high school and college, I started to step into my own zone, and not following society norms by, I guess, for one, my spirituality, and our culture and society in general. It's really known to be like Christian or Catholic, but I'm
Yeah.
spiritual. And especially in the household that I grew up in, it's a Christian household. So being spiritual was kind of looked down upon
Yeah.
and things like that. And I feel like I kind of rebelled against society by being spiritual. Even I would say rebelling against society, us having locks. Um, not so much this generation, but years ago.
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Most definitely wasn't looked at like how it is
Yeah,
now. Most
yeah.
definitely
They used to say locks are dirty, and people shouldn't have locks, or it's not
Yeah.
professional, and things like that.
I agree.
So, okay, let me look at the next topic. I'll honestly probably cut it each time I look for the topic because
Yeah.
it'd be taking me too long to figure out what I'm asked.
No, you good. Doing good so far?
Huh?
Doing good so far?
Yeah, I'm trying to be more comfortable, but
I'm chilling.
I don't know how to like conversate more than just like asking you questions. Okay. Okay. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you face with not conforming or not following societal rules?
More so not fitting in as much. You know, I'm not really an extroverted person, so I
Mm,
already kind of don't fit in as much. But like, just my beliefs and how I carry myself already doesn't fit in with a lot of people because
yeah.
I feel like I have my own agenda. I have my own type of mindset, different from everybody else's. So I feel like that makes me stand out more than the usual person.
Yeah.
And I feel like every now and then it can be kind of conflict, but I'm just true to myself, and I don't try to be anybody else or try to, you know, put myself more down to be on somebody else's level. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I feel like not following societal norms, it can be a little difficult sometimes. You can lose family members, lose friends. People
Right.
may not want to be around you.
Right.
And that's difficult, especially in your teen years or like in high school, because you know how people are. Like, they don't want to be friends with a weird person or the
Right.
person that stands out.
They expect you to be exactly like them or exactly like the
Exactly.
next person. Y'all supposed to be all friends and stuff like that.
Especially in this generation, it's just a whole bunch of copy and paste. Everyone wants to do the same thing, be the same, and it's repetition, just over and over again.
Yeah, a lot of people. I feel like they're also like scared to step out the box.
Mhm.
Like I feel like everybody's so comfortable being like the next person, or copying what the next person does. It's just more safer for them to be that way.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of goes into the topic about like that fear construct that like society has.
Yeah.
Basically just putting out that fear to make you feel like you have to do things a certain way, you have to follow these rules, you have to live this type of lifestyle
Right.
if you want to stay alive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's scary, stepping out into your own stepping out of the box and going on your own journey, not following everyone else, doing what you prefer to do, basically not giving a damn.
No, that is true though.
So the next question is, I'm giving some time that way, like I have time to cut it in between. It's not just awkward. Awkward cuts. Oh yeah, let's take a tea break. We should like both sip the tea and then just look at the camera.
I need some more tea.
Huh?
So I need some more tea.
Oh, don't sip all of it. Act like you sipping it. Okay. Um. Okay. Let me. In your opinion, what do you feel like are the key benefits of living life unconcerned with societal normalities or rules?
Uh, just overall peace of mind. You know, once you truly like figure out the art of just not giving a damn, like it's so much easier to bypass things. Things
Yeah.
don't stress you out, and honestly, life becomes a lot less stressful and just easier in general. In that sense of like living a norm, like as a usual person would, and things of that nature. I just feel like just overall it helps you become grounded
Hmm.
helps you be more mentally sound, and it just helps you overall in all aspects of life.
Yeah, I most definitely do feel like once you truly learn to let go of what other people are saying and doing, and you follow your own path, it becomes a lot more peaceful and easier. You're only worried about yourself. You're not worried about everyone else and what they're doing. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
It keeps you grounded and it keeps you, I'm going to say self absorbed, but um,
It makes you like more in tune with yourself.
yeah, a little bit more selfish and yeah, like you were saying, in tune with yourself, in tune with your spirit, not worrying about everyone else and worrying about having to follow rules. It does give you a peace of mind for sure.
I agree.
Okay. I don't know how much time we have. I don't know when we started. I probably should have checked.
It's 9:30.
Huh?
9:30.
You know when we started?
Yeah, 9:30.
Hmm?
9:30.
Oh, we've only been doing for 9 minutes. Okay. It's okay. We're about to get into the topic of um okay. I'm gonna ask you a little bit more questions about yourself, and then we can talk about like the celebrities, and then we'll like start to close out. And the celebrities we can kind of drag out.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you. Okay. Okay. Can you discuss a time where your rebellious actions led to positive change or positivity for yourself or others?
Yeah. I would say more so just being able to speak up for myself. I
Hmm.
was always a quiet kid, and I just remember like times where like I didn't like something or I didn't agree with something, I would kind of like shun away from it.
Yeah.
Like more so like with my parents and stuff, like doing certain stuff or like things they think I was interested in, like I would just do it for them to like make them happy, not realizing like I really wasn't happy with doing whatever they wanted me to.
Hmm.
And so just realizing and building the confidence in myself to just be like, maybe that's not what I like, or maybe that's not what I want, and just being able to be comfortable speaking up and speaking more for myself.
Hmm. What are some things that you feel like you taught others to do that made like a positive change?
Uh, really just not looking to like please anybody, because sometimes that's also a thing that people get caught up into, like trying to please people or entertain people when it should be more focused on themselves and their priorities that actually make them feel good, make them happy, things like that. And I feel like, especially in today's society, like it's so crazy how like people like basically are like in tune to like just entertaining other people and not
Hmm.
making themselves like happy or whatever case may be, just forcing like I guess the most out of them to keep people entertained and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I feel like that also like can make someone feel lost or like not really have a true purpose. Because I mean, what's gonna happen once people like, oh, I don't really mess with that dude because he's not really that entertaining,
Yeah.
and then you just lost because that's all you know for real.
Right. Do you feel like there's specific society norms that you used to abide to, or you feel like that you're supposed to and you don't?
Uh, More so just how a man should act. Not sharing his emotions, not being in tune. And I feel like this is like a very like subtle topic, but being in tune with like their feminine energy or
Mhm.
their femininity. And I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people don't really know too much about it. They just think like, oh, he's acting like a female, or he's acting like a woman. Just think it's like all negative, but that's really what keeps like everybody together, like as a person.
Right.
Women also have masculine energy and vice versa, and I feel like when you're able to balance the two, you're able to become whole and really know yourself and find yourself.
Yeah, I can most definitely agree with that. I feel like as a woman, girl, you go put a dress on, you
Right.
paint your nails, things like that. They want you to conform to these views. You know, like for a man, how they expect you not to talk about your emotions and be open, and they kind of want you to stay closed and have a shell, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like for women, they want you to be extra feminine, very sexual, always dolled up and things like that. Like
Yeah.
even what I'm wearing now would be an issue
Yeah.
in what, I don't know, the 1900s. But okay, actually, the next question. I hope it doesn't. I don't know. All right. How do you maintain your mental health and well-being while constantly challenging the status
Uh, I would say just you know just mainly just self care. You know, being more getting more into like meditation and things like that.
quo?
You know, a lot of people, especially for men, like they don't really see that as like a masculine thing to do.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's very much necessary to like just have a peace of mind and be more in tune with yourself. But for mental health, really, is just being able to communicate to people, letting them know what's wrong, or if there's an issue, just be able to speak up and say what's on my mind,
Hmm.
and just just taking care of myself in all aspects.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing with challenging the status quo and not following society's norms, you have to be connected with yourself. You have to be grounded.
Right.
Because with challenging society's norms, everyone's not going to like what you're doing. Everyone's not going to like your opinion on things. So the only person that you will for sure have is yourself. If you're not connected with yourself, then none of it really matters. You know what I mean?
Right. And people be forgetting that like the only person who really gonna matter to you is you. And I feel like a
Exactly.
lot of people don't realize that until like it might be too late and they might have really lost themselves and have to find themselves again.
Yeah. I feel like that's how a lot of like mental breakdowns happen and
Yeah,
shit
for
like
sure.
that. Okay. So now I want to dive into the topic about different celebrities that we feel like break societal norms, or I guess that kind of touch into the topic of nonconformity.
Yeah.
Or so, what are some celebrities that you feel like break societal norms or are different from others?
Um, First one to come to mind, I'll say probably Colin Kaepernick.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not sure if you know, but he was in the NFL, and basically he was like the national anthems and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and like he didn't like I guess agree with like the way the NFL treated some black players or things like that, and so he ended up getting um, banned from the NFL. But he's been a prime example of like social justice in today's community and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is he still a player?
No, he's not playing right now because they still have him banned from the NFL because of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to update me on those kind of things. I don't know anything about players in the NFL
yeah.
or who these people are.
I mean, it's been like what? I think it's been about 10 years now since he's been banned.
Oh.
But he's still like keeping his social justice like platform going and things like
Mm.
that. Still trying to like stand up and you know be there for like black people and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good. Anyone else you feel like breaks society's norms?
Uh, I'll say Cat Williams. Cat Williams is probably like unapologetically like himself.
Yeah.
And, like he just honestly just doesn't care like what the public eye thinks or says about him and stuff like that. And I feel like he just speaks on things that a usual person wouldn't feel comfortable about, especially for a celebrity.
Hmm. I feel like Cat Williams is a definition of not giving a damn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, every interview he goes on, he does talk a lot about celebrities and people in power and like the dirt that they're doing.
Yeah.
And being a celebrity and being like higher up like that, that's difficult to talk about because you can easily get kicked off of your pedestal. You can easily lose money that way.
Right.
And he kind of breaks society's norms and stops having those fears to go talk about those things publicly. So I feel like Cat Williams is a great example. Anyone else?
Uh, I'll probably also say I'll probably say Kevin Gates. Kevin Gates is also an example of like being unapologetically himself. Like just the things he speaks on spiritually, and then the way what he believes in, and the things that he goes in detail about. A lot of people don't really agree with him, especially the way he is as a black man. So they might look at him as like he might be crazy, or he might not know what
Yeah.
he's talking about. But in reality, like what he says is actually true, in the sense that once you realize what spirituality is and the like definition behind it, like you understand it too.
Hmm. I feel like Kevin Gates is for sure looked at as crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the things he does say is wild.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
very outlandish. But I do feel like he is very open about his mental health. And as a man, for one, and a celebrity, a rapper at that, that's not common, especially with him being in prison for years and being in a gang and things like that. That's not common at all. Talk about your mental health and your emotions and what you're feeling. And then on top of that, his music is really different. He's one of my favorite artists, but his music is very different. He does talk about his mental health and his emotions and bring that into his rap. And a lot of times, like especially with our culture with black rappers, a lot of what they're talking about is just gangs, money, and murder and sex, unfortunately. But with Kevin Gates, he does bring a lot of his spirituality and his beliefs and his mental health into his music, and he still like raps about it to where it's actually pretty interesting and good to listen to. And touching base on his spirituality, I don't know if you've ever seen like those videos where he talks about how he practices voodoo and hoodoo, and how he's like very magical and powerful, and he teaches his children like how he started a car battery with his bare hands.
Yeah, I've ever seen that.
But yeah, I for sure would say that he breaks society's norms. He's different for sure, and I feel like that's why he's always all over social media, because of how different he is and just the outlandish shit he says. Um, it always makes people kind of give him a side eye, but
question him a lot.
exactly. But one thing I would say about Cat Williams and Kevin Gates, they are both very grounded and in tune with themselves. And when you're constantly breaking society like that, or you're saying these type of things all over the internet, especially being a celebrity, you're gonna get hate. So you have to be in tune with yourself and grounded, and you have to know yourself in order to get yourself through those hard times, because people are, of course, they're going to probably in his DMs sending messages attacking him for a lot of the comments and beliefs that he says. I would say some of the celebrities that I kind of look up to, or that I feel break society's norms. For one, I would say um, Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar is hated by a lot of people. I personally think he's hilarious.
Yeah, I do too.
But he does have very interesting beliefs that a lot of people wouldn't conform to, or a lot of people wouldn't agree with. But he's very outspoken in what he believes in. And even though we, growing up in America, we are taught much differently than what he believes in, but he's outspoken, and he goes to other universities, like black universities, and teaches these beliefs and helps the black community learn who they are.
Yeah, he's very active.
Exactly, and learn about their ancestors and things like that. And although he gets a lot of hate, especially from white privileged men, but although he does get a lot of hate from certain groups of people, he's still outgoing and outspoken, and he's very big in his beliefs, and he lets it be known. And he's another person that I would say is very in tune with himself. It doesn't matter what you tell him, he's still going to believe in what he believes in. He's still going to believe in himself, and yeah, he's still going to be secure within himself. Another person I would say is Dr. Sabi, who I did study for a couple of years. Dr. Sabi cured a lot of people and diseases with herbal medicine. And, the government didn't really like that. So he was arrested.
Yeah.
It is said that he cured cancer, AIDS, all type of diseases by using herbs, and he was also an activist. But by doing all of these things, he was abiding against society, because in today's society they want you to go to the doctor, take the medicines that they give them. It's kind of looked down upon when you're like taking herbs and things like that and natural medicines. And so he was talked about a lot. He went on a lot of interviews and people had negative opinions. He did end up going to prison, um, I guess, for practicing non-conditional medicine without, I guess, a degree. But and then he passed away in prison, so they say. But he is someone that I would say I look up to, and he doesn't abide by society's norms. He
Yeah.
doesn't. He does practice nonconformity. He basically just doesn't give a damn.
You're right.
He decided to travel the world and heal people because he had love for people and love for healing others and helping others. Even though he ended up in prison. That was still something that he was passionate about.
Right.
Okay, so closing out the podcast, I do want to ask you, are there any tips that you can give people who are trying to break out of society's norms, but they don't really know how to go about it?
Yeah. Basically, just first foremost, just finding yourself. Realizing what you believe in, what's your truths, and things of that nature. Just honestly, just not caring what anybody else has to say or think about you, and just living your life how you want to live it. I
Yeah.
understand, sometimes people might see the other person living a certain way and be like, "Oh, I want to live like that." But I would say to kind of live in your own way that fits you, because everybody
Mm-hmm.
else's lifestyle isn't for everybody else,
Yeah.
and things of that nature. I feel like just finding that will bring you peace.
Well, I agree. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Another
Of course.
episode. Um, this is, I think, our official second episode. So I want to say thank you so much for coming to see us, coming to talk. Um, Anyways, that's it for today's episode. I'm just gonna sip tea.